the shadow people worldwide. There's a darkness that lurks not just in haunted places, but in the very corners of your vision. A phenomenon whispered about across cultures, across continents, from isolated villages to towering cities. Always the same description, always the same terror. They are called the shadow people, and they are watching. No one knows exactly where they come from. Some say they are the souls of the damned. Others claim they are interdimensional beings that exist just outside our reality. What is certain is this: when the lights dim and silence falls, they begin to appear. They are not ghosts. They do not float. They do not shimmer or weep or wail. They stand. They stare. And they wait. The accounts are strikingly similar, no matter the language or belief system of the witness. People describe waking in the middle of the night with the overwhelming sense of being watched. Frozen in place by an invisible weight on their chest, they strain their eyes in the dim light, only to see it. The silhouette of a man-shaped shadow, darker than the surrounding darkness, standing at the foot of the bed. No features, no face, just blackness shaped like a person. And then slowly it moves. Some say the figures glide across the room. Others say they crawl along walls or emerge from corners like liquid night. And there's one detail that is mentioned again and again: red eyes, glowing, burning, unblinking, watching. A woman in Japan once recounted her encounter in a live radio interview. She was home alone, falling asleep in front of the TV when the screen suddenly went static. At that exact moment, the lights dimmed, not went out, just dimmed, as though something was feeding on the energy in the room. She turned, and there it was, a tall, humanoid shadow standing in the doorway, so black that it seemed to swallow the light around it. She tried to scream, but no sound came out. The figure didn't approach. It didn't need to. It just stood there, and she felt its presence inside her thoughts, as if it were trying to find something. She now sleeps with every light on and hasn't touched a television since. In Germany, a man driving late at night through the Black Forest claimed he saw several dark figures standing along the roadside, spaced evenly apart. At first, he thought they were people in cloaks, but as his headlights passed over them, they cast no reflection, no shadow of their own. Just empty, black voids that turned their heads as he passed. Days later, he began seeing them in his home, reflected in mirrors watching him from doorways. No one else could see them, but he knew they were there. Sleep paralysis is often blamed. Science insists it's just a hallucination triggered by a frozen state between dreaming and wakefulness. But what about those who see the shadow figures while fully awake? What about the children who describe the same dark man before they've ever heard the term? And what about the countless people across history, before television, before modern medicine, who drew pictures of tall black figures with no faces, hiding in the corners of their homes? They've been called the Hat Man, the Night Watchers, the Dark Ones. Some believe they feed on fear, that when you're at your lowest, grieving, depressed, afraid, they come closer. They thrive in chaos and loss. And once you've seen them, truly seen them, it's already too late. They don't visit just once. A man in Brazil tried to fight back. After months of being haunted by a shadowy presence, he painted the walls of his house in bright colors, lit incense, played loud music constantly. For a while, it worked. But one night, the music stopped on its own. The candles blew out. And in the center of his living room, surrounded by the paintings he made to protect himself, stood 3 dark figures. He collapsed screaming. His neighbors found him the next morning unconscious, his eyes wide open in terror. He never spoke again. The scariest part? They don't always come when you're alone in the dark. Sometimes you'll feel it in broad daylight. In your office, your kitchen, a crowded subway. You'll sense a presence that doesn't belong. You'll glance sideways and see something dart just out of sight. You'll feel the hairs on your neck rise for no reason. And once you've seen them, even if it's just for a split second, they know. They know you can see them. That's when they start to follow. First in your dreams, then in your home, and finally, they step into the center of your life. Silent, still, always watching. So the next time you wake in the dead of night and feel like something is there, don't look. Don't move. Don't acknowledge it. Because the moment you see the shadow people is the moment they never leave.